Welcome, investigator. Evil is on the rise. Crime is escalating. Our mission is to eliminate the crime by exposing evil, examine why it manifests, and highlight the brave souls that confront it every day. Join us as we work together to bring justice to every victim. Welcome to All Things Crime. Here's your host, Jared Bradley.
Hey everybody, it's Jared. Welcome to another episode of All Things Crime. I got my main man, Tom Myers, with me, and we are excited. Boy, just late last week, we found out that there was a double homicide that was solved in Broward County, that's South Florida, in the Hollywood area. And that's especially near and dear to our hearts for multiple reasons, and especially because Tom grew up there. And so Tom has a real specific insight as to the area and everything, and we're going to get into that. But incredible case, 1975, two young girls that had just finished 8th grade, about 14 years old, had been murdered and found the next day. And absolute tragic case. But there's a ton of stuff that goes into this. And amazingly, Broward County, the Broward County Sheriff's Office, these guys are cutting edge on a lot of different things. And they also made a really awesome video of this. And we're going to take some snippets out of this video and narrate on them and talk about them. But first of all, I have to thank all of you for listening, for subscribing. And please, if you haven't subscribed, just hit that button, hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you never miss an episode. And there's lots of episodes. We have almost 250 episodes now. So if you need to catch up and go back and see some of those episodes, I mean, we've covered a lot of really incredible cases and interviews in the past. So please subscribe and share these episodes with your friends and family. So, and one other just kind of admin note, I don't have skin cancer on my forehead. I was walking just on Thursday, I think I was walking through this house that was being built, and so planted my face full blown into a board, and that's what that is. So, Tom, I leave those conferences that we were at last week, and boy, it must have been a little distracted because lost my head and just whacked it. It almost dang near knocked me out. So. But I'm sure you've never done anything like that, right?
No problem. Not today yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, let's get into this case, man. This is absolutely just incredible. So what, I mean, as a whole, when you saw the announcement that Broward County was releasing this video and the news that this case was solved, what was your initial reaction?
Oh my gosh, big thumbs up to BSO. My old agency before I was in the FBI was swept into them, and always was kind of a goal of mine to work for them because their crime scene unit is so good and it's still one of the best in the country, if not the best. So we saw our friend Rob Caceres on film, and we're going to see him today. And he's a Jedi Knight with this MVAC machine. And this case, looking through it, you can tell I'm almost still stunned talking about it. Is either our second or third oldest MVAC, 48 years later. And a big stunner. And the case hinges right on where a bunch of different jurisdictions come together and adds some confusion to it. So I kind of pride myself on being a student of history, film, and crime, and knowing all that stuff. And if it had been in Hollywood, I probably would have known that because I have that lineage there. But because it's just 100 feet, maybe 50 feet across the street on Sterling Road, it falls into that Fort Lauderdale mailing address, which was then Dania Beach, which I believe, and it was a contract city or became later Broward Sheriff's Office. We fall into that degradation of the investigation. So I'm trying to parse it all out and figure out the exact address, even all these years later, and having that knowledge and work those areas. So there where some of the confusion came. So it's amazing they got this thing together, but it's like a thunderbolt, lightning strike how this thing was solved. And it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. These guys, to be able to go back to a case that's almost 50 years old, from 1975. I mean, I was 8 years old then. And the incredible thing about, I mean, everybody needs to understand that DNA wasn't even, I mean, fingerprinting was being perfected back then, but it's still, there's a lot of techniques that have developed just in fingerprinting, but DNA wasn't even thought about. I mean, this is a good 20 years before DNA is even on the scene. So, incredible that the detectives and the investigators, whoever actually worked that crime scene and the victims, had the foresight to collect the evidence that they did to be able to actually preserve it properly. And that's a key area, especially in areas like Florida, anywhere in the South. Anywhere east of the Mississippi, really. Let me backtrack. East of the Rocky Mountains, man. It's so humid that if you don't package evidence correctly, then mold will grow on that. And as many of you know, mold is an inhibitor of the DNA process. So if evidence is destroyed if it gets moldy, then a lot of times, then even if they try to get a DNA profile, they can't. It won't produce anything. So kudos to those guys way back in 1975 to collect all this evidence correctly. So again, double homicide, 14-year-old girls. They get into this white van from just a park bench that they were sitting there, and were never seen alive again. So let's go to the video. And again, this is the Broward Sheriff's Office video. It's Open and Unsolved, episode 6 is what we're going to be covering. So here we go. Let's go to the video.
On a June day in 1975, Barbara Schreiber and Darlene Zetterauer walked along a street in their Hollywood neighborhood. The girls were 14 years old and inseparable. As they lingered on a bench on the corner of Sterling Road and Northwest 40th Street, neither of them, nor anyone who knew them, could imagine they would not live to see their 15th birthdays.
I think this was the beginning of the ending of their life.
Gail Cavaco was friends with Darlene Zetterauer. They grew up together. She remembers Darlene and Barbara enjoying carefree summer days before they began high school. That particular day, a white van pulled up near the bench, and it appears the girls who frequently hitchhiked willingly climbed inside. Once that van door closed, Barbara and Darlene would never be seen alive again.
The why, I don't think we'll ever know why. I think the person that did this was just a sick person.
All right. So Tom, so first of all, 1975, if anybody remembers back then, it was just such a more of a carefree time. And, hitchhiking was pretty common. It's just there wasn't as much of an awareness of the dangers that, I'm sure the dangers weren't quite as prevalent as they are now, but nobody really cared as much. So your thoughts on the Hollywood area back in 1975? You were like 30 back then, right?
No, not quite. A little older than you. How about that? Yeah. I know the area well, and it changed dramatically with the kidnap and murder of Adam Walsh took place in 1980, if I recall correctly. So we're 5 years before that at least. And I have family on law enforcement, so I know the area really well, friends in it, and a lot of contacts that came later on as I got older. But in between that area right now, to this day, it's confusing to everybody. They mention on the video that it's 40th Avenue and Sterling Road. Well, as I said before, about 50 feet difference. If you drop into Hollywood, it actually becomes 56th Avenue. So it confuses everybody. And I can just imagine, okay, let's back up a second. We know what happened, and when the girls disappeared, we have at least 3 crime scenes. We have crime scene where they're found, where they departed from, and the autopsy itself. And then there could be anything else that's found, but we know those 3 are the immediate crime scenes. So that area just we're speaking about where Gail is referring to, where she saw the white van pick them up and disappear off the face of the earth. that's a crime scene right there. But like I said, the confusion arises because you don't own those, meaning that agency doesn't know all the witnesses. They're not intimately familiar with all the people who are good witnesses, who are friendly to the police, who are problem children. And back in those days, it was done with 3x5 cards. You knew the people who were suspect pedophiles and things like that. And of course, they ended up in NCIC as well. But you had that informal. But if you have multiple agencies, it just degrades the entire investigation. So they're already hamstrung at the onset here. What worked well, and we're going to learn in a second, and what helped was their bodies were found very quickly. So with that, I'll kick it back over to you, Jared.
Yeah. Well, and also it's important to note that there's a lot of kind of salacious material out there about these girls. And yes, they were carefree. They were, not living, perfect lives, but what 14-year-old does, right? But most importantly, especially we have to remember that this is 1975. We can't judge what happened from 2023 standards. And it was just a different time back then. And, these girls were just out having fun, carefree, and they made the mistake of getting in the wrong vehicle. And that's the bottom line. So it's one of those where it's a tragedy, but, there's lots of lessons learned here. But most importantly, again, kudos to all the Broward County investigators that just never gave up on this case, because it's ultimately, it's just absolutely incredible to think back in 1975. Like you said, they were working with Rolodexes and 3x5 index cards, and computers didn't even really exist back then. And so they're working, they're writing it down. They're trying to work back and forth on county lines and city lines and multiple agencies. And, it's a double homicide, and these girls were brutally murdered after being raped. And it's just horrible.
Thanks for joining us. Your attention today brings us one step closer to exposing and eliminating the evil that brings crime to our communities. Hit subscribe and share this episode. Together, we will bring justice to every victim.